A week ago.
It was all a dream.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It is Monday. It is in the 11 o'clock hour. We like to thank Mr. Vonnie Holiday for coming in. Good friend, as I said, 15 years in the NFL with the Packers, Arizona, Miami, the Washington Redskins. Man, I had to face a couple of times across the line. Thank him for coming in, looking well still. Doesn't seem like he has CTE at all, moving around.
Is that a strong concern when you see friends that you hadn't seen in a while that you played with back in the golden days of football when you played in the day of the leather helmet and the actual metal spiked cleat
and the Chinese calendar, the year of the egg.
Yeah. I think that we all probably look at each other to first and foremost see if you gained any weight.
Right.
Would be first.
Michael Sams is sure checking for that. Oh, you done got fat?
How you're walking to see how healthy your legs are. And probably the third would be, do you still have any money? Are you,
all the things we look for.
So I would think those are probably the three things. But Vonnie, who's always been a good guy and smart player, even though UNC never went to class,
right?
Seems like he has done well.
When I run into all of my friends I hadn't seen in a long time, my first question is usually, "You got out?"
How long you been out?
when you come home.
I thought you were going to say, did you take the honey bun?
No, bro. We know before we go in, no honey buns, dude. We sugar free.
Well, for the Sports Joc Show, we always try to kind of live on the edge in a sense and bring stories to light that people sometimes overlook. And we definitely love anything that's about competition. As I said at the beginning of the show, I went to a lingerie football game on Saturday. They have changed it to the Legends Football League up in Gwinnett Center, the Atlanta Steam. We had Richard Brown, a graduate of Morehouse, who has been in the Olympics. He told us his story of losing a limb and still rising to become a great track runner. Today, if you have been listening to the last couple of shows, we have talked about a very interesting competition. We know here it's kind of fading away. A lot of beauty pageants have faded away, at least the popularity of them. They used to be huge when I was a kid. It was like, who was going to be Miss America? Who was going to be Miss Universe? It used to...
Before internet porn.
But a couple of weeks ago, I reported on an interesting competition that none of us knew about, and that's why we like to bring awareness to it and things like that, because people are out here living their dreams, still showing you that regardless of what happens, you can still get up off the mat and become something. We have Miss Leslie Peoples in the building. She is Miss Wheelchair Georgia, and I know some of you are like, yes, y'all have talked about this, and it's just more interesting to me because you never know what's going on behind doors, and you think people in this situation would not even want to probably be a part of something like this because I guess, if you're not having hard times, you're very sympathetic, and some people, just like we learned with Richard Brown, they're not looking for you to be sad for them, but to understand that you can still get up, make life, even out of sad situation. Miss Leslie Peoples is here. She is Miss 2015 Georgia Wheelchair. She will be in the 2015 or 2016 Wheelchair America. Is that correct? She has a bachelor's degree from Fort Valley State. I know who was on here with the book from Fort Valley. Tyrone. Who was at that time?
Tyrone Poole.
Tyrone Poole, my friend, Tyrone Poole.
Yeah, great friends. Can't remember. Who was that? The guy from yeah, he's my buddy, my cousin.
Tyrone Poole, Fort Valley State graduate, played in the league about 12, 13 years.
Super Bowl champion.
Super Bowl champion, yes. She has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Yes.
And now she is getting her master's in clinical rehabilitation. Yes, okay, see.
Nice.
See, that's I like to test myself because I thought I had to drop off in CTE, and now I'm back. But I guess that's how it worked, right?
I was a huge fan till I found out criminal justice.
Well, good morning to you, Ms. Peoples.
Thank you for having me.
You know, or you two met last night at the United Negro Fund. Is that what that's called?
Okay.
United
No, we actually didn't meet. It was the United Negro College Fund.
Hey, wherever you coloreds gather, don't get specific.
They still have that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought
a
that it fell
wonderful
off.
event. It was a really nice event last night.
Oh, okay. Where was it held?
The
Civic
Civic Center.
In the cotton field? No, man, I'm just joking, man. They work on the indoors now.
Who was
Shifty sheriff over here.
Talk to me. I've never been to that.
Well, you tell them about it.
Okay, basically the night, it's an Evening with the Stars. It's an award show for children who receive scholarships through the United Negro College Fund who attend HBCUs, whoop, whoop, Fort Valley. And basically they were just handing out money all night.
Really? And nobody called me.
Well,
about
that's
it.
why you didn't go, because you don't need money, and I didn't go because they didn't want me to rob the money.
And that's why I
So
was there with my mom. 'Cause both of us need money.
Yeah.
they know who to invite.
Okay. How many years have they been doing that? I know. I remember it was in. It's kind of like the beauty pageant. You remember watching that, and now it kind of fell off, like Lou Rawls. And Lou Rawls and the telethon and stuff. Lou Rawls still do the telethon?
But
Yeah, I think
this has actually been going on continuously. I think it's just, they've publicized it.
Yeah, they've been doing the UN.
But then it comes,
Yeah, they've been doing the UNCF since they's beating black folks coming across the bridge. You know what I mean?
So you were there. It was a great evening.
Yes.
I take it. Okay.
Yeah.
And y'all didn't meet. You just saw each other.
We didn't meet, but the host or the warm up comic who came in between was kind of giving shouts out to different people.
They locked eyes.
Exactly,
And she noticed her, and she noticed her.
Yeah.
Okay. Two women sizing each other up. They do that though.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah. She got that 2001 bag. Y'all ain't that what y'all do?
Oh, goodness.
That was last year's weave.
Some of them, not all of them.
Right.
Some of them.
Well, Ms. Peoples, thank you for joining us. Wheelchair
Yes.
pageant.
Yes.
When you say that to people, I would imagine they are surprised.
Always. I guess the biggest thing that people don't realize is people in wheelchairs do exist.
Okay.
A lot of people assume that, oh, they're in a wheelchair, they're just homebodies, they don't go anywhere, they don't do anything. But that's a really big common misperception that people like me and other people who not only do pageants, people are doctors, people are lawyers, people in wheelchairs are out here in America. And for some of us, we just want to do pageants. We feel like we have a reason or a season. It's time to show it. So for me, I love talking to people. I love, naturally God made me beautiful. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
So why not, why not advocate for other people? Why not be that little hope for, the next little girl who feels like, I don't know what to do with myself, so I'm just going to sit at home. No, baby, stand up. You have a reason. You are beautiful. No matter your disability, you are able. So that's why I'm out here to advocate for other girls. And it's a lot of us out here of the brown complexion that don't do anything. We feel like, oh, beauty pageants are, for other girls. No, it's for every girl. It doesn't matter. So that's why I'm here.
I'm so glad you're here. Because this one right here, she brings none of that good old. She coming here and talking about she want to choke people on the plane.
No.
She talking about she want to kill people on the plane this morning. You bring us. So we're gonna go to break. We're gonna come back.
It's beautiful to see that even in a wheelchair, you stuck up enough to say you beautiful on the radio. You know what I'm saying? I love that about you. We gonna connect real strong.
We'll be back. That. More of the Sports Joc Show and Miss Leslie Peoples right after this quick break.
More of the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Atlanta Olive Oil Company is this week's Sports Joc of the Week sponsor. Located at 1133 Huff Road, Suite F, Atlanta, Georgia. Visit them this week for samples of the Sports Joc Oil of the Month, Black Walnut BV. Atlanta Olive Oil Company is more than just a place to buy gourmet-infused olive oils and balsamic vinegars. It's a unique gathering place for tastings and intimate settings. Located at 1133 Huff Road, Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta Olive Oil Company, proud sponsor of the Sports Joc Show.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. I'm sitting here with the funny man himself, Big Kenny, and the beautiful and lively and sometimes violent Miss Erica Ash. We have a special guest in the studio, Miss Wheelchair Georgia, Miss Leslie Peoples, Big Kenny, Erica. Before Leslie, if I have this correct, there was no Miss Wheelchair Georgia.
There wasn't. The state of Georgia is an independent delegate state, which means that they didn't actually have enough candidates to actually run for a pageant. So it kind of went off the application process. But this upcoming year, I will be the state coordinator for the state of Georgia. So there will be a Miss Wheelchair Georgia pageant.
Now, when is the Miss America Wheelchair?
The Miss Wheelchair America pageant will be held on July 27th through August the 2nd in Des Moines, Iowa. Kind
of random. Des Moines, Iowa. Is there a reason?
Well, every year is a different location.
Okay. I thought maybe that was the birthplace of whoever started it.
No. Well, they can focus because there's nothing else to do there. Let me ask you this: How did you get started in wheelchair pageantry? Like, how did?
Actually, after my injury, I was actually told by somebody like, "Oh, you're really pretty, and to be in a wheelchair." And I was kind of offended by that. And I just didn't understand, like, why would you say I'm pretty because I'm in a wheelchair? Why aren't I just pretty because I'm a pretty person? So clearly some people didn't see me, they saw the chair. So I said, okay, well, what do other people that are pretty in wheelchairs do? So I just Googled, what about pageants for people in wheelchairs? I pulled it up, and long and behold, there it was, Miss Wheelchair America. So I said, okay, well, if I'm pretty to be in the chair, let's see if I'm pretty enough to stand up with the rest of them. And there it was.
Huh. Now, I'm sorry. How did you end
No, go ahead. Monopolize the show.
Yeah. This is me and her. We're having a moment right now.
Thank you. You lost your time when you decided to get smart with her.
Yes.
Y'all go ahead.
Because I'm coming back. You can believe that. Y'all get it all in now. I'm coming back.
Let's see, was it June of 2013? I was in.
Hold on 1 second. The mic keep going out. Is it back up now?
Mediocre producer strikes again.
Go ahead.
Strikes again.
Okay.
Strikes
Can
again.
you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. There you go.
In June of 2013, I was involved in a fatal car accident. I was traveling on a 2-lane highway, and a minivan who decided to drive the wrong side of the road to go around a dumpster truck drove. I was coming up a hill. They were coming up the other side and ran head on into my vehicle. And the driver of that vehicle, she passed away on impact. And I had a fatality in my vehicle, and I was left paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh my goodness.
Having read that story before you got here, I know a friend of mine who was in a car accident and they woke up paralyzed. And the most difficult part was when they told him, in fact, sometime later, because they let him believe that maybe he'd recuperate, but later they finally told him that he wouldn't walk again. He said it was difficult to learn that to have had two people lose their life and you be paralyzed. Did you feel like you were the lucky one in that situation?
Not in the beginning, because the passenger who was in my vehicle, she was 16. And at the time, I was 23. So I felt like if there was somebody who deserved to live, why not give it to somebody younger than myself? I've always been a very unselfish person. So when it comes to life, I felt like she deserved a chance. And she didn't get that chance because somebody else was selfish enough to drive on the wrong side of the road and take it away from her. So I guess I don't know if I'm going to say I'm blessed, period. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful to be here. So I guess
Hold on one second. So, because we're having a little technical difficulty with her microphone right now.
Right.
There's a lot of static in it. I know that the last accident I was in, they didn't believe I was 15, so they thought I had a concussion. I got out the back of the truck, and I was in the truck in the back of a pickup, and this was not a king cab. We ran into a tree. I had to kick the window out. And for about 2 hours, they kept questioning whether I was 15.
Because he was freakishly large as a child.
Yeah.
And the last accident I was in, I got a wife and daughter out of it. So things happen.
Was back on. Were you in any kind of pageant before the accident?
never.
Any kind of cheerleading?
I was a varsity cheerleader.
Okay.
I did do competitive cheerleading in high school. In college, I did study criminal justice, so I had the aspiration of wanting to be a medical examiner. And right before my accident, I was transitioning into medical school. Then I got in my accident, and then everything just changed from there.
And now you want to get into clinical rehab.
Yes. After going through rehab at the Shepherd Center here in Atlanta, I was actually able to interact with some of the other patients. And it's kind of hard when you go through a therapy type setting with somebody who's a therapist, who's an able-bodied individual. And you sit there and they say, oh, how are you feeling today? What are you going through? You really don't understand what I'm going through. You really don't know how I feel. So I felt like, why not give myself the opportunity to help somebody else who does understand? Why not sit across the table from somebody else who has been in the same type of accident as myself? So I feel like I'm a much better candidate for that, I guess, opportunity than somebody who's an able-bodied therapist of some degree.
How long did it take you to accept once you got the news that you were going to be paralyzed?
I don't accept it.
Okay.
If you believe it, it'll happen to you. If you believe something different, if you believe that you will get up one day, you will. It's a mental thing. I think paralysis is what it is. It paralyzes you. It makes you think that you can't do something. But if you want to do it, you just have to have the willpower to do it, period. Even if it's different. Like the word disabled, it doesn't mean we can't do it. We're just differently able to do the same thing anybody else can do.
Gotcha. Go Big Ken.
On the pageant circuit, we hear a lot of talk about women in pageants being catty and bitter and mean towards each other. Is it the same on the wheelchair pageant circuit? Are there some real bees on wheels?
That's actually a good question. Only because I would assume that he was being funny at first.
No, I ask good questions. I'm a radio professional. Excuse me.
I'm gonna go fair
it
to
happens
Midland.
from time to time.
I'm gonna go fair to Midland on that. But no, just because people, everybody's so much more grateful for, being.
Well, most of the wheelchair pageants, they're not necessarily beauty pageants. They're abilities pageants. Who can be the best advocate for people within the disabled community? So for the most part, I can say everybody is really welcoming and warm towards one another. But there's, it's always probably one or two.
Miss North Dakota. She always,
call
them out on the show. We know.
I mean, you just never know. Maybe somebody who's in a power chair, she might want to roll my foot over. We hope not, but you
don't. He'd be like, ha, I ain't even feel it.
Right. I didn't feel it anyway.
She rolled over your foot, and everybody be like, "You got the juice now."
They are profiling in wheelchairs. I heard that.
But it wasn't like a quick transition. And I'm asking you this for the benefit of other people out there who might see your story and be, positively influenced by it. How long has it been since your accident, first of all? And the second part of that question is, how long after the accident did you kind of get the idea to start doing this?
For me, it was almost instantaneously. Before my accident, I've always been a very strong-minded person. I've never settled for less than anything than perfection. So when I was told I was paralyzed, it didn't register to me at first because, y'all said y'all been in accidents and you walked away from. I had a cut, bruise here. So for me, when I said I was in an accident, the first thing I'm thinking about is, my car is gonna be paid off. I'm gonna, get me this nice new Jeep Wrangler. It didn't register in my mind that, a new reality is about to hit me. So when the doctor said, we're sorry, ma'am, they say it in the worst way possible. They don't tell you in, this heartfelt manner, like, you're, sorry, you're gonna be paralyzed. They wake you up out your sleep and say, you may never walk again, but we'll teach you how to roll in a wheelchair.
What has been the biggest transition? The one thing that you find was the hardest?
The hardest thing for me, I will say, is allowing other people not to feel sorry for me. Okay. Because a lot of people look at you and they, like you said before, they feel a sense of pity towards you. They feel like, I'm so sorry you're in a wheelchair. I'm not sorry that I'm in a wheelchair. I'm sorry that other people in wheelchairs don't show you how fabulous our lives really are. Because just like anybody else, we're fine. Just because we're a little, we may sit a little differently, our clothes may fit differently, but we are normal people. So.
Are you dating? You roll around with anybody?
Well, I'm out here on the scene, I'll say that.
I love it.
I'm saying because she's a beautiful woman. If you're watching the Sports Joc show, she's a very beautiful woman. So I had to ask. I didn't see a ring on your finger. And,
no.
And she's educated.
Yeah. She talk real straight.
It don't make a difference. I'm not either. But when you said...
But we know why in your case.
Why, Big Kenny?
That's for another show.
Well, we're going to go to break. When we come back, if you have a moment to hold on, we have one more segment on our show. 888-926-7562. GoFundMe, is that what you want me to read? Because he loves to put stuff and think I read his mind.
I need money for my campaign.
GoFundMe, she is $595 away from her goal of $2,000. I'll read the rest when we come back. I don't know how to read computer. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. A lost art, R&B music, dead to some, still alive here on the Sports Joc Show. Real quickly, before we continue our conversation with the beautiful Miss Leslie Peoples, you know what? Forget all that other stuff right there. Don't even worry about that stuff there. We done with all that stuff. Let's talk to Leslie. We can... NBA playoffs start Saturday. How about that?
How about it? And the news in that is that the Hawks will be participating. That's the news story, is that we're actually in the lead for once. So.
Just to catch you up, Ms. Peoples will be in the 2016 Miss Wheelchair America pageant in Des Moines, Iowa, July 27th through August the 2nd. How many participants are in this pageant?
This year there will be 28.
28. Okay, so we got a couple of more states to get right. Maybe Ron Paul can get them going. With Hillary, somebody. Yeah, Ron. I know what his name is.
Yeah, Ron Paul. It don't matter. Hush your Republican mouth. Leslie, what is the grand prize of winning the Miss Wheelchair USA pageant?
Well, for one, you get the title of Miss Wheelchair America. You receive your, official crown and sash of Miss Wheelchair America. You're able to go around the United States doing advocacy work, doing personal appearances, going around. Hopefully, we're trying to get into the White House this year. if I do make it, that is my goal, to get next to President Obama and basically be the best advocate, try and change laws, try and get things amended. A lot of places aren't wheelchair accessible, depending on when they were established. So basically, get out there and change the world.
You a Delta?
Yeah.
Okay, Ruth. I'm the bruh. So
too.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You don't ask the questions.
Speaking
of.
Right on. We're going to have to take one of them Greek love pictures together.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, with the dog in the middle.
You said something really powerful. He asked you how long did it take you to accept it, and you said you don't accept it. So when you say that, are you hoping to one day be able to be on two legs again, or is it just a mentality that you're saying that you don't accept?
Both.
Okay.
For one, my injury level is very low. I'm an L3 spinal cord injury, so I guess most people don't really know the body until something happens to it. So for me, the lumbar, is the very bottom of your spinal cord. It's only 5, L1 through 5, and I'm L3. So for me, my injury level being so low, I do have the ability to utilize a lot of my body parts versus someone who may have a C-level injury who isn't able to use majority of their body. So for me, I have the ability to still move my legs. So as long as I strengthen them and continue to do physical therapy, I am able to stand. And then once you're able to stand, once my quads get stronger, I'm able to, make steps of forward progressions. And eventually, with the assistance of walkers, I use crutches, with braces on my legs, all kinds of assistive technologies that are out here, I am able to walk.
Okay. I like that.
That's good.
And at some point, you'll be able to shed it.
Hopefully, with that's all in God's time, because your spine and your nerves take a really long time to regenerate. If your nerves, for my injury, my nerves shot out of my spine. So for me, at my injury level, all the nerves at the L3 vertebrae were disconnected. So all the feeling from basically my waist down is gone. So, but they can regenerate, and there's so many stem cell research projects out here that I really do feel in time somebody's going to find, just like the cure to cancer, somebody's going to find the cure to paralysis, and we'll all be up here running again.
Right.
How did your family support? How was that when you went to them like, Mom, Dad, I want to be in the Miss Wheelchair pageant?
They thought I was crazy. My mother, it's just me and my mother and my sister.
Okay.
And I told her, I actually didn't tell her at first, because I said, okay, well, if I don't win, then I don't even want to mention it because I lost. And I don't believe in losing, so I didn't tell anybody. So then when I was selected as Miss Wheelchair Georgia, I told her, and she was like, oh, that's so cute. You decided to make yourself up a pageant. And I tried to tell her, like, no, this is real. And she was like, yeah, okay. Right. But then eventually when she researched it and she saw how many the pageant's been in existence for 44 years.
Oh, wow.
And when she saw it, she was just floored by it. And now she's involved. She's my personal PR agent in her mind. She's my momager, as she wants to call herself, but she doesn't do anything. But I love her. I love my mother, but that's her role.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
One, are you able to have children?
Yeah, our bodies work just like everybody else.
Okay. You sounded like you want to have a baby with me the way you said that. Like, yeah, you want to have a baby, and we'd make a cute kid.
You got a 401k?
She said you got a 401k?
I got 36 OZs. You can believe that. We still gonna get this money. Don't make no difference. You know what I'm saying? We still gonna get this money. This my point. That's not what I want you to take away from this conversation. I also want to ask, do you still do the girly stuff, like go get the pedicures?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess for people with paralysis, you really have to watch your bodies, because you don't have feeling in certain areas. So your body's more susceptible to injuries and you not notice them. So especially with our feet or our legs, our blood doesn't circulate the same anymore because you're sitting down, majority of your day. So you really have to be very careful when you do things like pedicures and things of people touching your legs, But it's all possible. You just have to be very careful.
What about day-to-day activities? So, for instance, I noticed you came in by yourself.
Yeah, I drive.
You drive?
I drive. There's assistive technologies out here. I have hand controls in my car where I have one side for my gas pedal, one side for the brake.
Oh, nice.
Why not an electric chair?
For what?
Okay.
If you don't need it, why get it? You know, if you are able to move your arms, push yourself, because not only is that giving you your own physical therapy, you're actually motivating yourself to want to do better. If you're in a power chair, you know, by circumstance, that's different, you know, for people who are unable. But people who are lazy, they decide, oh, well, I'm just going to get a power chair and move my finger around. But if you push yourself to be in a manual chair, you're actually giving yourself therapy every day by pushing your arms. You're building up your muscle tone.
She's a Delta.
There you go.
And all of those able-armed people in wheelchairs have just been called lazy.
No.
Hey, so all of you losers out there who could use your arms but won't.
Right.
I mean, well,
I
hey,
like
if
I
the
like
shoe
that
fits,
fighting spirit. Yeah.
If they can, like I think
If you
I think that's
can
a very
do
valid
it.
point.
If you can do it.
I think it's the equivalent of people who just won't go to the gym. Like
Yeah.
you just won't, and then you know you sit around and scream at the TV about who should play what on the field.
Do you? I don't know if you have an answer to this question or not. Most of the women that are in the pageant, do you know if they've always been in a wheelchair, or some other stories are more like yours?
I think everybody may have their own different stories.
Okay.
It's abilities pageants of all different abilities. People who may have spinal bifida, or you know, people who have been in accidents, or people who have born with, you know, birth defects, is a different variety of different reasons, and we're all different injury levels.
How does the age range? Is there
Well,
age
it's for
range?
21 and up.
Okay.
For the Miss Wheelchair America pageant, but different states have state pageants, just like the regular, you know, Miss Georgia pageant. They have Little Miss Georgia, Miss Georgia Teen. They have Little Miss Wheelchair Georgia, things like that.
When you finally got out of the hospital, got in your wheelchair, and started traveling around, did you become more aware of how limited access we allow people in wheelchairs here in the United States?
I have, and I'm always honest. So when I used to go around and maybe go to Target or something, like, oh, let me just park in a handicapped spot right quick while, you know, I would run in the store. I really didn't understand it until I was in that position myself. I didn't appreciate, oh, it's a reason why this spot is up here for somebody who really needs it. And it kind of aggravates me now, because I see people and I just sit in my car and I wait for them to move. And then they look at me when I finally get in there like, oh, I feel bad. You know,
Right.
I shouldn't have been there. You know, it really gives you a whole new outlook and perspective on life.
You've obviously never run into me in a handicap spot, because I'd be like, whatever.
Don't ever
move
to Florida.
Let me find you. Let me find
You'll run into me
Let me find
real
you.
hard.
Don't move to Florida, because all the handicap spots are
What is
taken
going
down.
on with this flirting between the two
I
of y'all?
am not flirting with her. I am openly
Well, we are glad that you came.
making remarks. This is no
There's nothing
subversive.
subtle
Yeah.
about this.
We are glad that you took the time to come and
Thank
go
you
on the
for
show.
having me.
Put the GoFund. You started this.
Yes, I started a GoFundMe page to help me raise my money for my campaign. Each candidate has to raise a certain amount of money to go towards our travel expenses and pageant expenses. So my goal is set at $2,000, but I'm hoping to exceed it. I'm hoping. So I've set it up. It's GoFund.me/MWG2015. Stands for Miss Wheelchair Georgia 2015.
Well, for you taking the time to come on the show, I'll give you the $595 to reach your goal.
Thank you so
How about
much.
that?
Because the sports jock love the kids. He's a good guy like that. Free football
So-
camps.
Thank
Go
you
fund
so
me.
much.
At least you can say you made the goal.
Yes, I truly, truly appreciate it. You have no idea.
And thank you for letting us experience your beautiful spirit. Hopefully, some of it will fall on Erica Ash.
Yeah.
All my Star Wars are beautiful. What are you saying?
Thank you, boo.
And we going to smoke one after this.
If I hadn't ran out of time, I had an ocean candidate right there. But thank you, Miss Erica Ash, for coming in today.
Of course.
For the funny man, Big Kenny, Miss Leslie Peoples from the Sports Joc. Pay your taxes. Enjoy your Monday. We'll see you next Monday. Peace.
Damn, this love I have inside.